And Congressman Danny Heck, Democrat from Washington. And Congressman, I'll begin with you. My sense from your colleague, Congressman Reed, there is he wants no part of government shutdown. I imagine that's a prevailing attitude among your GOP colleagues. What do you think?
Well, I do think that's going to be the case. And I think if you listen to Reed's comments, what he is displaying is that the Republicans are going to have to begin to separate from this guy because he is coming up with absolutely crazy stuff. The idea that we would put money into a wall, spend money that is not needed, not wanted, and then hold health care hostage over that, that puts him in an untenable situation. And from what we're hearing about the bill, it absolutely will eliminate pre-existing conditions. It's going to make it so it's in a situation where people really won't be able to have the coverage. And to think that you're going to leverage one on the other, I think it puts the Republicans in a really bad spot, and we're going to watch them separate from Trump.
All right, so here's the argument, Congressman Heck, that Republicans would make, and I've seen some of their sort of mouthpieces making this argument, that if the Democrats don't vote for a CR with wall funding after the president ran on that and won, it's the Democrats who are shutting down the government. It's the Democrats who are risking the health care of people, and the Democrats stand to be blamed.
So last November, they asked for the keys to the car. They got it for the White House. They got it for the Senate. They got it for the House. Now they're in the process of driving it into the ditch, and it's our responsibility. Chris, that was the most painful and pained defense of what's going on I've ever heard. I genuinely was sympathetic for my friend Congressman Reed. I wanted to hand him either some Aleve or even a Percocet, because clearly that was difficult for him to get out.
Well, he was, I mean, he seemed fairly honest. I mean, the message there, to his credit, was clear. Like, he doesn't want this. I mean, that is my takeaway from that. Congressman Reed doesn't want a big, nasty brawl about the border wall funding next week and a health care fight. He wants a clean CR bill to be passed to keep the lights on. And I guess, Congressman Bass, here, can you explain something to me? And I'm going to admit that I don't quite get this. I don't even understand how my understanding was that those subsidy payments on the Obamacare side were not part of the discretionary budget. I don't even understand quite what they're threatening.
Well, I think what they're saying is that they will take away the money, because there are ways through the budget process where they can do great damage to the Affordable Care Act. Okay. And they are threatening to do that if we don't agree to put money into the wall.
Do you think it strikes me that, Congressman Heck, from Schumer's perspective, this is in some ways, you are not, as Democrats, scared of any of this. I mean, it seems to me that the border wall fight, the health care fight, these are not things that divide your caucus.
Do I look scared, Chris? Listen, it's not just every single legislator, both Democrat and Republican, along the border. They got there for a good reason. Here's the good reason. 61% of Texas citizens are opposed to the border wall. We're not afraid whatsoever of having combat with them over an issue where he promised ad infinitum that the Mexicans would pay for the border wall. You know what? There's even a group of private property owners all along the border that are beginning to organize and begin to litigate on this. I'm not afraid of this.
Congressman Bass, in terms of the communication, I mean, just give me your sense observing this. It's just remarkable to watch this, because it really doesn't seem like there's any coordination at this point between the White House and Capitol Hill. We hear things one moment, they're knocked down the next. You're an experienced legislator. What is your sense of how the Republican colleagues are sort of coordinating with the White House?
Well, I mean, I don't think anybody is able to coordinate with the White House. I mean, they can't even coordinate amongst themselves. You know, this is an administration by tweets. We never know what he's going to do, not just from day to day. We don't know what he's going to do in the same day, and it puts them in a heck of a spot. I agree with my colleague there. You know, needless to say, the southern part of my state is a big part of the border, and there is not support for that here. And the fact that they are literally going to use eminent domain to take property away from people in order to build a wall that nobody wants, nobody needs. We don't have the money for it. It makes absolutely no sense. And I feel the empathy for my colleague Reed as well, because they're having a very tough time explaining this madness.
Congressman Heck, ultimately, do you think they're going to push this? I mean, is this, when you go back to D.C. on Tuesday, what are you sort of buckling in for? What's your anticipation of what you're going to be doing next week?
Obviously trying to keep the federal government from shutting down. But, Chris, the question really is, To what degree is the Republican majority going to be willing to back a president who, at this point in his administration, has by 14 points the lowest approval rating in recorded history? I sense they're beginning to tiptoe backwards and away from some of these ideas that he keeps coming up with almost at random.
Next week is going to be absolutely, I think, the most fascinating political week that we've seen in this administration so far. Everyone back from recess, 100 days, got a hard deadline, everything happening next week. So we will be covering it. Congresswoman Karen Bass, Congressman Danny Heck, thanks to you both.
Fasten your seatbelts.
That's right. Ahead, the chaotic White House push to accomplish something